Hello and welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues.
Electric heating filament? You are inadequate to my needs. Why? Why was I not built with a death ray?
Sadly, you can't kill any of these personalities. But anyways, welcome back to Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues on Nyxus Gaming. Last episode, we finished off all the upgrades for the sink. We still have one more thing we can get for the sink. It's for the jukebox. But that's in the final area that we're going to go into today. We're going to get back to the main quest line. So if we go into our quests, we're going to be working on Old World Blues. We got to return to the think tank and let Dr. Klein know we got his stuff for him. Alright, so heading up here. Before I go, I want to just show you guys I'm kind of scraping by at this point in the DLC after exploring everything. I have 875 caps left. That's because I went through, I repaired my helmet. I didn't have enough to repair the power armor, but I repaired the helmet, and I bought some combat armor to replace the power armor for now. I also didn't have enough to repair my Gehenna, so we're going to be using the chainsaw for this last bit here. And yeah, like I said, we're scraping by. It's mainly because this sink hasn't regenerated its caps, and we spent a good bit of money on implants here, and we still have more implants to get.
No false alarm. It was just a plate.
Alright, so that being said, I should be able to get through this last bit with what I have with the combat armor and a chainsaw. So it's going to be a little bit different on this episode, but afterwards, after this DLC, we'll get back to our normal setup. Let's go talk to Dr. Klein. Alright, where is he at? He's up there next to his monitor.
Did you retrieve the technologies yet? We need them, as I have indicated.
Well, I've recovered it all.
What? You did? Your survival, let alone success, barely registered in my projections. Now, all I need to do is check my transmission databank. Mobius is always filling it up with his psychotic calls. Oh yes, there's the schematics, just like you said. How truthful.
Do these technologies have the information you need?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, what?
No. I mean, yes. You just need to analyze these technologies for a moment. They are extremely advanced, you know?
Do you even know what they do?
I know how these technologies work. Of course I know. If you remember, we described them in clearly abstract, contradictory statements before. Why would we do that if we weren't certain on how to use them? Yes, so let me, a bit, I'll figure it out.
Look, the antenna focuses brainwave patterns, right?
Yes, that's what I believe I said.
And the suit's a cardiac regulator, and the sonic frequency is a spinal vibrator?
I've got it. The cardiac regulator in the suit, the antenna for brain waves, and the sonic frequency for the vertebral nerves.
Yes.
I'm thinking. This is all very complicated. Let me check something. Of course. I have it. The override sequence to open the Forbidden Zone door is hidden in the schematics. Well, not hidden. It's actually right there, behind the programming equivalent of coffee stains. It's embedded in what seems to be recursive code. It's badly commented there and there. Oh, and null pointers very sloppy, Mobius. You see, using the antenna to boost the emitter's sonic frequency, and the stealth suit to bypass the Forbidden Zone lock, yes, that could work. Was that my plan? It must have been. Sometimes I truly surprise myself. The door is open, and now Mobius will get his.
Don't these items seem more, biologically focused than that, though?
Biological? Ridiculous. I mean, technically, these items could all be used to put you back together once you had your brain. But for now, they can be used in the name of aggression. The door should be unsealed. Now, instead of being subjected to threats, we can now send an equally threatening message to Mobius. And that message is science. Deliver this message, and Big Mountain shall be freed from Mobius's reign of terror. You can go now. That's your cue.
Alright, so, yeah, it's totally to get into there, not to heal us at all, right? Before we stop at the Forbidden Zone, there is one more place that I want to circle back to. We got Robo-Scorpions here outside now. Let's see how good this chainsaw does against them. It doesn't do great, if I'm being honest. Okay, yeah, it's not doing great. Not doing great. But, we're through. There we go. Alright. So, the one place I want to stop at... Actually, no, I'll probably just leave it for now. Yeah, let's cut straight to the Forbidden Zone. 'Cause there's gonna be a lot of talking in this episode, and, it'll probably be long. I'm warning you now. Oh, hello. I can't hear the chainsaw. Alright, they're taken care of. And let's just barge right on into the X-42 Robo Warfare Facility. Right away, you want to duck in here, like, right away. So this is one of the main bosses of the DLC, the giant Robo Scorpion. Which, judging by how my chainsaw was doing against the small ones, I don't think my chainsaw is going to do very well on this. So we're going to try to do the disabling route. Alright, let's check here. We got Scorpion test logs. The Saturnite armor plating on the giant Robo Scorpion has exceeded expectations, mostly. While it's virtually impervious to small arms fire, the sonic emitter that Parsons brought in managed to fry several of the prototype's subsystems. We'll have to look into improved EMP shielding for the next prototype. On a more positive note, the prototype's new atomic laser is performing admirably. Some residual radiation is left behind after the weapon discharges. It may be necessary to requisition more radiation suits and meds as a precaution. We have target drone effectiveness. The constant improvements to the giant Robo-Scorpion has rendered the Protectron modules we've been using as hostile communist forces largely ineffective. At this stage, they're little more than distractions. Alright, well, let's go ahead and activate them anyway. And like the thing said, they're basically just going to be distractions as we work our way around here so we can disable it. This is kind of weird. I've never done the disabling route before. I've always killed it. Why am I out of ammo? I'm out of ammo for the sonic emitter at like the worst time. What the hell? Okay. Okay, there's gotta be something. Somewhere, right? Right? No. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, come on. Come on, man. Come on. I see a Rataway down there. There's gotta be something, right? I guess while they're fighting, I kind of want to see if my chainsaw is going to do some damage to this thing. They've done some damage to it. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're doing all right here. We're doing all right. We're doing all right. Yeah, see, we just activate the distractions there, and while he's aiming for them, we just come in and kill it. There we go. Boom. Easy. Oh my god. Alright, well, that's done. I do wanna... Where's the loot for it? Right here? Yeah, search it. Here's some energy cells for our sonic emitter. I'll go ahead and pick those up. That way I can show you guys the disabling route. Grab that. There should be a thing, too. We gotta level up. Okay, which one of these do I want to max out? Because I'm not going to be able to max out all of these, which really sucks. I'm going to be close to maxing them out. I don't know, I'll probably get them all as close to 100 as I can, and then I'll look for skill books to do it. But alright, that's, we have radiation sickness from that. Oddly enough, we have radiation sickness. Alright. So there should be... I thought it was on the Robo Scorpion itself, but it's not. Let me switch to field research real quick as my quest. Because the last thing, the last audio sample for the jukebox should be in here. Looks like it might be up in that building. But I'll show you guys the route you're supposed to take through here real quick if I remember it. I don't need the chainsaw out anymore. Need my sonic emitter. I have one shot with this. Wow, one whole shot. I'm gonna try and show you guys the route. So you shoot that, disable that. And you have another terminal here, power regulation. You have backup generator log, the new atomic laser. It's putting an incredible strain on the giant Robo-Scorpion's generator. Damn thing shut down right in the middle of weapons testing last week. I pushed for reducing the laser's output by 25%. Instead, they slapped a backup generator onto the Scorpion. Dangerous, if you ask me. The systems weren't designed to handle the power from two systems at once. If some rookie tech fires up the backup generator too early, well... So I guess that's just a hint there that you can aim for the backup generator on the back of the Robo Scorpion, to kind of do some more damage to it or get rid of it that way. I thought that was where you go. It is obviously not. Hopefully we don't need any more sonic emitter bullets. Just in case, actually. These guys should have energy cells on them. There we go. Yep, we do need one right up there. Can I hit it from here? How do I... There we go. Nope, you cannot hit it from here. It has a pretty short range on it. Alright, come up here then. And now hit it. Alright, what do we have in here? We have proton throwing axes that might do a good bit of damage to the Scorpion if you need them. Some Radaway. They give you Radaway because the Scorpion, as the first log said, does shoot out radiation with each laser shot. So I guess there's nothing in there. One of these places should have a way to disable the Robo Scorpion. I just can't remember which one. There's a turret here. X-42 security turret. There's probably a way to activate those and have them fight the Scorpion. Yeah, turret control system. You'll have to hack in selecting 3 of 9. Servitors 1 of 9. Requiring? No. Offspring. No. Wow, we got locked out. I got a little zealous there. But anyways, you can probably hack that and get the turrets on your side to fight the Scorpion. I was stupid and didn't, and then I locked myself out. But oh well. Go and hop down here, get to the next building or whatever you call these things. Pick up some more stim packs at least. That's pretty good, and I think I need another bobby pin to replace the one I broke. Alright, what's this one? Emergency shutdown terminal. It is a very hard terminal. But I'm gonna ignore that for now because I think somewhere else in the facility there's a terminal password for it too. I just don't know where that is either. I don't think it would be in a footlocker or in any kind of storage. It's probably up here. It makes sense, yeah. Oh no, that's the audio sample for the Robo-Scorpion. That's the last thing we needed for the sync, actually, so that's cool. Is it in here? No, we got a layer in here, though. Yeah, so basically, you find the terminal password somewhere in here. And then you take it up to that building there. And you use it, or you just hack it. Hey, there it is. There's a shutdown terminal password. Easy, right? And you'll take it over here. You'll either hack the terminal or use the password. And you can just shut down the Robo-Scorpion. I have never done that before. I've always just killed it. In fact, I don't think before I even used the drones or the turrets. I've always done gun playthroughs where I could just kill it pretty easily. Procedure log. Per instructions from the higher-ups, after that one time the giant Robo-Scorpion's attack routine malfunctioned, we've installed an emergency shutdown procedure. Let's hope we never have to use it. The prototype systems will all be fried, and we won't be up and running again for weeks. The military is expecting delivery of a battle-ready model within 6 months, and the project has already had enough delays. So there's probably like another thing on this terminal that would be there if the Robo-Scorpion were still alive, but it's not, so it's not showing up on the terminal. Anyways, yeah, that's the giant Robo-Scorpion all done. Let's switch back to our main quest here. And let's go confront Doctor Mobius. Looks like we have to head back up there. Probably shouldn't have jumped down. At this point in the DLC, unless you go exploring again, out into the crater, there's only one more fight left, and I've never done that fight before in my life. I've always resolved it peacefully. The ways you can do that, you either do all the think tanks quests for them, and they'll resolve peacefully, or you do high skill checks. I can probably do both, but I'll probably go the quest way. So there's a Mobius glove there. There's also should be a scrub somewhere else. You see this dome here is like a copy of the think tank dome, just like a lot more, I wouldn't say run down, just kind of old looking. I don't know. Let's keep looking around. There's the scrubs. There we go. Alright, so let's talk to Doctor Mobius for the first time. Oddly enough, you don't have to fight him.
Oh, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely.
Is that better? Walking into your right, which would be the broken one, right?
Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. Flying tortoises were the worst. Would you care for a mentat?
Thanks.
I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-terrific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though. Especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations. Although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end.
You aren't exactly what I was expecting.
Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical Mobius is better than I.
I need my brain back.
Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
Yeah. I was curious about some things first, though.
Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know everything. Or maybe it was when I found out some unpleasant answers.
So I can't fix your monitor, but if you're getting ghost reception, I can fix that for you.
The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my computing power for other perceptual impossibilities. Please be my guest. The receptor is there, and the side-switching wobbly bob, just turn that. Good, good, better. Oh, yes, that feels wonderful. This is even better than my afternoon Mentats break.
So why did he steal my brain?
Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. Anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition.
Why is that a problem?
I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh well.
Alright.
I find things curious as well. Go on.
Can you tell me about the robot scorpions?
Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert, like poisonous frosting. How scary, I thought, but they had survived when nothing else had. Perfect candidates for improvement as a reward for their tenacity. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes and data-drained computers and acted as bullhorns? Then I made them bigger. Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Or was it mustard? Mustard custard. I miss sugars and salts.
So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because, we read that terminal about a giant robot scorpion prototype before the war, right? Except he's talking about making them after he saw big scorpions wander in from the desert. Which, if he's talking about big scorpions, it would probably be rad scorpions, which are post-war. Which means he wouldn't have made the robo-scorpions pre-war. Like that one log said. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Let's ask him something else.
Yes, yes, this is getting interesting. You are just filled with these little slices of curiosity, aren't you?
You don't seem aggressive. Why broadcast threats to the think tank?
Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, watch out! So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take mentats, I can feel my entire chassis breathe like a big spherical lung. As for the Psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Go in the wrong tube. Still, served its purpose.
So, sounds like you built the Robo-Scorpions, issued threats to keep the think tank occupied.
Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Is some reason for it? Ethics or, conscience? You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the reasons better than I do.
Everything you told me doesn't add up. Your plan, even your name. Mobius.
Doctor Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I. Although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature of such an appellation. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies, it said. I believe it meant me. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. As for the name I was born with, like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming.
You reprogrammed their names as part of a recursion loop? What, to trap their processors?
Now, trap is a rather harsh word, like excrement. Not an inappropriate word, but still rather harsh. But, yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. It's all right, they don't remember. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement, and then...
So why did you trap them?
The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. They keep testing things. They would have found a way to disarm it. I suspect I have Plan C's in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them, just in case. Probably very dangerous, lethal, or worse. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Or as you like to say, trapped. I prefer to have several Plan Bs in case the A's fail.
Klein, Mobius, O's a circle, 8's an infinity symbol. They're all loops, I get it.
Oh, you figured it out. No pun intended. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros, Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time and history. All that is left is what's here. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world, here, Big Mountain. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. And I am told I was once quite professional.
It's kind of an asshole thing to do to your friends.
Is it? I suppose it is. But really, they started the whole excrement hole behavior loop in the first place.
So, minor detail, but a snake devouring its own tail is Ouroboros, not Ouroboros. I probably just completely botched those, but whatever.
Really? It is so unlike me to make an error in anything I do.
If you lobotomize the think tank, why terrorize them?
Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That I didn't change. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. And when they start deucing it up, then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. Bacteria, finally able to see its host.
But there must have been other signs of a larger world.
There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their monitor micromagnifiers. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. And then there was the whole brain fiasco, which forced me to take steps. See, your brain had a special kind of wrinkle, a uniquity that they had never thought to try in all their countless escape attempts.
The bullet that went into my brain? Doc Mitchell tried to patch me up, but
Yes, very good. I should have mentats ingest you instead of the other way around. Mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis. But it was enough for the autodoc in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem, and the brain extraction technology for once worked. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial cells into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the reservation...
So if I don't get my brain back in my head, I can't leave, ever.
Oh no. I doubt your brain would be so unreasonable. It already knows the trick of it, you see. Doesn't need to be in a host body at all. If you become friends or exist in an uneasy truce with weapons aimed at each other, it would unlock the fence for you. Well, once the think tank was dealt with, of course, your brain is a responsible sort. Doesn't want mad scientists running around everywhere.
So you set your threats on a loop to keep them occupied.
Yes, I certainly wouldn't loop it on purpose. I am far too sophisticated to make such a childish error.
Do you know anything about the other visitors?
Not much, except they contaminated Big Mountain and installed new ideas in the think tank. One caused a great deal of infrastructure damage with his brain and smartiness. Ruthless, that one. Played a little rough with the trains. But the last one was the most dangerous. Him, slipping away. That was almost as bad as the think tank escaping.
What do you mean?
The first one, the ruthless one who smashed up our toy trains, asked for weapons, power, items he could use to destroy a nation with force. The other asked a different question, and with it got the true answer about what makes nations and what breaks them. He spoke to the think tank to climb, showed them the flag of the old world, and it made them remember all of it. All that had happened. They shared things with him that they shouldn't. He now carries those ideas, that knowledge, elsewhere.
So Klein said that they had the idea to get the 3 technologies after your broadcast. Coincidence?
I consider coincidence to be profanity, along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. So watch it, potty mouth. My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear. And along with the emotional download, other data rides the fear carrier wave. It prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies and bring them to attack me. And coincidentally, pardon my language, all those technologies are needed to put a brain, your brain, back into its skull properly.
What's the purpose of the technologies?
The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha wave frequency thought patterns. The sneaky suit, why, it houses a cardiac regulator. And the sonic sound wave projecto emitter was never intended as a weapon. It was a medicinal vertebrae pulse desensitizer. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. I think there was a story once where a band of murderous thugs sought these things. They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. And it won't stop the think tank either.
Was there any other data transmitted?
Yes, my overly aggressive cammed up broadcast was designed to keep reinforcing the forget, fear, rinse, and repeat program. Oh, and the get me the things to castrate your only possible escape attempt. But I couldn't delete you or your arrival any more than I could the other visitors. Only so much science can do when you started talking to them. You're really quite difficult to ignore, you know. It's because you're, well, rather intriguing, if you'll forgive an old brain for saying so.
But the think tank downloaded the schematics, not the items. They can rebuild them.
Oh, that means my plan is a total failure. That is unfortunate. Oh well, at least I tried.
Alright, well, time to go.
Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
So, that's the big and evil Doctor Mobius. Actually, don't see any equations anywhere. I think they're on the wall over here? No? I don't see any. He said he was writing them all over, but I don't see any. Oh, here we go. I think that's what these are supposed to be. Ah, yes. Let's get our brain.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been? Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again?
Are you my brain?
Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Why are you such a dick?
Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment?
I mean, of course you're responsible. You're my brain.
I most certainly am not. I'm the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you. That sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone. Do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are.
But you're the source of most of those glands, unless you're arguing that my thyroid is to blame.
Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback and other things I wouldn't expect you to understand.
Admit it, you're just as glandular as I am.
Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it.
Don't you want to be reunited? I thought you'd be happy to get back into my head.
I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you.
But what about the good things? What about a cool breeze on your cheek, the smell of food, love?
Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. Oozing hormones.
Isn't it just as true that you only feel this way because you're lacking those hormones?
I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it?
So we're at an impasse. You can't feel what I feel, and I can't think the way you think.
Indeed. Quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it?
I think we have to trust each other and acknowledge that we aren't complete if we're separated.
I suppose there might be some advantage to that, yes. There's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy between us.
So what do you say, Brain? Join me for some more wild adventures?
Well, I suppose you've convinced me well enough. I'll rejoin your body if that's your final decision. Unfortunately, before we get to that stage of the proceedings, we have a problem. Even if I could settle myself back in your skull and reconnect all those pesky nerve endings, Doctor Mobius doesn't have the tools here. We would have to make use of Dr. Klein's lab, and I rather doubt the brains are inclined to share.
Why? They promised to put us back together once I did what they wanted.
And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently deprived of my fabulous advice, but... Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead.
I mean, you're a part of me. I know you don't want to let that happen any more than I do.
Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. All right, what's the plan?
If the think tank won't hold up their bargain, we'll make them. Let's go.
Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of its jar. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
Alright, so we now have our brain back. We've learned some pretty big revelations. It's the think tank who needs to be held down. They're kind of the evil ones here. And Doctor Mobius was just trying to keep them in check the entire time. But now that we know that, now that we got our brain back, we can go deal with the think tank now. Now remember, as I said, there's one last battle in this DLC. It is with the think tank. Unless you've done all of their quests, or you have high skills for their checks, then you're gonna have to fight them. And I can't give you any help there because I've never fought them before. So, good luck. Good luck. Before we do that, though, we're gonna head to the Sync balcony We're gonna give the jukebox his final audio sample. Jukebox is this way.
What's the haps?
I have a soundwave file.
Right on, Daddy-o. Just plug it in and I'll mix you up a sweet, sweet sound.
Alright. So that's the last thing for the field research quest. That is all done. We're going to talk to the auto doc next.
You require some additional services?
Engage.
Rightly so, I should think. Alright then, let me just fire up the old interface for you.
And we're going to swap body parts. So I think we definitely want to reattach our spine. We'll lose the spineless perk, but we'll get the reinforced spine perk. It's back in our body, but some advanced technologies remain. Your torso can now be crippled again, but your strength and damage threshold bonuses have doubled. I want that so I can have the strength bonus there. And other than that, I'm not sure on the other body parts. Let me compare here. Go into our perks. Where are those? Heartless. Can't be poisoned. Filters in your blood will regulate bleeding and healing. Allowing healing items to function at a higher level, and robots are confused. Okay, what about the other one? Brainless. Placed with advanced technologies, head can't be crippled and is resistant to chem addiction and bodily damage. Okay, what can he do for us? What do I get if I place the heart back in? I get the cardiac arrest perk. Some technologies remain. Less resistance to poison, 50%. Robots are only somewhat confused by you. And healing items are twice as effective. That actually sounds pretty good, so we'll keep that. Alright. So we can't do anything with the brain yet, because we gotta deal with the think tank. So let's just, let's go charging in with a chainsaw, see what they say. Dr. Klein awaits. Make sure you're prepared to finish this once and for all. See right away the color's different. It's all red. We can pull out a weapon now. And they're waiting for us there.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Doctor Mobius been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped?
I found my brain. Now you and I are gonna settle things.
I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again.
I'm not handing my brain over. There's some things we should discuss.
And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments.
You think I'm the lobotomite? No, but my skull houses the brain of Mobius.
That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible.
So these are the high skill checks I was talking about. If you can't do those, that past option, it said you should confer with your colleagues. That's what you can do if you did all their companion quests. But nothing is impossible for science. Mesons, lasers, atoms, brainwaves, all are at my command.
You speak the truth. And the decibel variation in your voice, it is Mobius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here?
I offer a deal. Stay here, stay put, and I'll let you live.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm.
I will permit you to do this. For me.
Partner with you? My foe? My rival? My foremost critic? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
And that's that. All we gotta do now is leave the think tank and watch the ending slide. We should get all the endings since we got all the sync upgrades and all that, but let's see. We'll head up to the sync.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose. It sought to develop antitoxins to flush into its drains and counteract the poisons bleeding into the soil.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except, he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent. as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was Old World Blues, and New World Hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
And there we have it. We are done with Old World Blues. We get the big brain perk. Brain's back in the body, but some advanced technologies remain. Your head still cannot be crippled, but you're only 10% more resistant to addiction now. Surprisingly, your damage threshold has improved by 10%. You've acquired the Big Mountain Transportal Ponder. It's capable of transporting you and you alone between the Mojave Wasteland and the Big Empty. To return to the Mojave or go back to the Big Empty from the Mojave, simply equip the Transportal Ponder as you would any weapon, pull the trigger, and away you'll go. Note that it won't work in interiors or in combat situations, and is totally incapable of harming your enemies.
Forceps, nurse. This man's got a severe case. His shoe along.
Are you done? Alright. Okay, he's done. You got a little bit of cheering from all the sync personalities you got there. That's kind of nice. But yeah, that's the end of Old World Blues. I don't have any cleanup to do here. I already finished it all up, and there was one good ending that I didn't really get. I forgot about it. You get an ending based on how much you discovered in the Big Mountain, how many locations. And I think you only get the good ending for it if you've discovered everything here, which I definitely didn't do, but I mean, I still got an ending for it nonetheless. I'm not too worried. But yeah, that does it for Old World Blues. All we have left is the reunion, the final DLC, Lonesome Road. We're gonna start that next episode. In between episodes, I'm probably gonna do some moving around with all this new equipment I got here. Move it back to my main base and stuff, and all that fun stuff. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time when we start Lonesome Road. Bye-bye.